Hello, Lifestyles Unlimited friends. This is Ed Faulkner coming to you from the beautiful Foundry Apartments here in Tyler, Texas. You know, crazy story. Just 11 months ago here in beautiful Tyler, Texas, I purchased another property here called the Foundry Apartments, and it was a value play. And it was going to take about 18 months to do all the construction that we needed to do. But you know what? The HZF Properties team just worked around the clock to tackle that project. And we got that entire project done in just 9 months. And what that allowed us to do was to begin paying distributions in just 9 months as well. So we paid those distributions to our investors in the third quarter of this year, which was just like 2 weeks ago from right now. And that made our investors really, really happy. And guess what? That's what we want to do right here at the Foundry. As you're considering your investment dollars, consider the value play of the Foundry. It's going to be a great deal. Now I'm inside this awesome, beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's their largest unit here at the Foundry. You know, as I was walking across the parking lot to come into this great unit, I noticed a few things. First of all, there's some other income opportunities that this place is not taking advantage of. The first thing I noticed is there's no covered parking, there's no reserved spots. That is an easy thing that we can do to add some other income. Then when I walked through the front door, I noticed that there's no modern home tech that's being used at this complex. And we can add those things to add some real value and add some other income potential and really modernize this place and help it compete with other apartments around town. And then last, I noticed here in this unit in particular, there are washer and dryer connections, but there's no washers and dryers. And that is a great way that we can add these washers and dryers and charge extra for those actual washers and dryers and get some additional other income. Now, when you put that all together, that's going to be a really attractive offering, but also what that means is that when we're looking at what we offer this apartment unit on the market, we can add an additional $125 for actual rent, not other income, but just actual rent for this 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit. For our smaller units, at least $100 a unit. And then the other income could be attached and stacked on top of that. So there's some really great income potential here, folks. The Foundry is a value play, and our business plan is going to include 3 elements. The first one is security. Here at the Foundry, we've seen on social media that folks have been complaining about security. There's been some crime issues over the years, not necessarily recently, but there's been some crime issues. And so we're going to address that head on when we take over. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to increase the lighting and make sure it's all working, beef it up, make sure it's using modern LED lighting and it works at night, and make sure everybody has a sense of safety at night. The second thing we're going to do is add another person that's living here, maybe 2 that are off-duty security guards that are actually living on site. There's already 2, but maybe 1 or 2 more. And the third thing we're going to do is we're going to have, for a season, some patrols that are here patrolling the property at night and maybe even during the day to make sure that there's a visibility that people see that we're serious about taking care of crime. In fact, another thing that we're going to do is really focus on the property management company enforcing the leases. That's a very important thing as well, to make sure that if somebody's doing something they're not supposed to be doing, they're out. So that is something that is really important to having a disciplined property. The next element is dealing with drainage. The properties have a history of when it rains, that there's some standing water, there's been some mild flooding in the past. We're going to make sure when we do our due diligence that we understand and have a handle on where the areas are on the property that are not draining properly, and that we understand how to fix that, abate that situation, and that we take care of that, because that is just something that people should not have to worry about in where they live. And we want to take care of that. We don't want to have that to be a problem. And then the last is dealing with exterior deferred maintenance. And the company that owns it right now has done a really good job of upgrading a lot of the areas of this property. You've seen a lot of the beautiful footage of the clubhouse and the pool and some of the other areas. They've painted the exteriors. It looks great, but there's still some areas that need a touch up and some help. And so we're going to make sure we, as part of our overall package, fix those areas of exterior deferred maintenance. But you know, we've also found that there's some interior deferred maintenance that we might need to take care of as well. At HZF Properties, I look at different ways that we can make money on our property investments. And for the Foundry, I've identified 3 ways that we can maximize our investments. The first way is doing a cost segregation study. Now, on 2 of my properties that we've done so far, we've already done cost segregation studies. And what this does is it really helps us as investors get a great return on our actual taxes. And this is a study that we do where we go in and we look at the property and we find out what the material percentages are of each kind of material. And on the K1s that I give to you each year, you're going to have an accelerated depreciation. And that's going to help you on your taxes. It's either going to help you immediately or it's going to help you at the end when we sell the taxes, depending on your tax situation. Talk to your tax accountant on how you can maximize a cost segregation study. The second way that we make money on the Foundry is through quarterly distributions. Now, you know at Lifestyles Unlimited, we teach that when it's a value play property, there's a lot of construction that's going on. We're spending a lot of CapEx dollars. And so sometimes it can take a long time before we're going to be able to pay those distributions. And it's going to be the same thing with the Foundry. It may take 12, 18 months before we're able to pay. We'll just have to see. Now, we're going to hustle and try to get all this stuff done, and we're going to work as hard as we can to get those distributions flowing. But once they get flowing, we should be able to pay those every quarter. And so those will contribute. Look on the paperwork to see what those rates are that I'll be quoting. The third area of making money at the Foundry is the disposition. And that just simply means the money that you make when we sell the property at the end. And the disposition in this case will be all the money that's after we sell the property, we pay back any money we have, like to the mortgage company, any bills we pay that we owe, and then that money that's left over, we pay back to all our investors. And what we really try to do is, of course, is pay back your original investment plus extra money back. And so what I'm trying to do is maximize that plus part. I know I'm going to give you your money back. I wouldn't do this deal if I wasn't. But then I'm trying to see how much more I can go above that original investment back and really maximize that. So then what I do is I combine the cost segregation, the quarterly distributions, and then the disposition at the end to combine all 3 of those for really maximizing our return on the Foundry. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the tour of the Foundry. Before we go, I just want to give you a quick personal note. You know, my wife Carol and I, we joined Lifestyles Unlimited about 5 years ago, and it's been a great journey. Carol and I have been married next month, it'll be 31 years, and we have 2 beautiful kids, Hannah and Zach. They're both college age, and you know, they've been watching what we've been doing in real estate, and like many of you, we want to leave a legacy. And they have both indicated that they want to invest in real estate, whether they do it as their career or whether they just do it passively. They now see the value in investing in multifamily real estate, in single family real estate, whatever they're going to do, as a way to curb things in their future to make sure that they don't get affected by the economy in the future. And you know, that's probably the same thing that you're doing as you invest in real estate. In fact, Carol and I kind of taken on this phrase called invest in family. You've probably seen it on podium on our website. It's something that we really believe in, and we want you to invest in family as you invest with HZF Properties, as you invest with me, Ed Faulkner, and my wife Carol. And this is a great way to take care of your retirement like we have. We were always joking that we thought we might have to eat dog food in retirement before we discovered Lifestyles Unlimited. Now we know that we're going to be taken care of because we're taking care of ourselves. And we want to be a part of your retirement plan and work together. The answer is clear. Once you look at the numbers, once you look at the returns, once you look at this beautiful property, you'll realize what Carol and I realized. Once you invest in the Foundry, you invest in family.